But a big conflict that's been happening overseas, we've touched on it, but it wasn't rampant.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't rampant like how it was rampant, how it's rampant now. You feel me? And that is the Israel versus Hamas. You feel me? Where the U.S. is funding Israel, and them niggas is killing babies and shit over there. It's a cold world over there. You feel me?
For me, the main thing is
them niggas is fighting over Holy Land and killing women and children.
You're using our taxpayer dollars for a war in another country,
mm-hmm.
but you can't use the same taxpayer dollars to fix the problem we got in this country. Many Israeli citizens and government officials, they get the free healthcare, they get the free dental, they get all the stuff that people here need, and we spending money and sending it over there. Same thing we did in the Ukraine, or we're doing in the Ukraine. And it shows how fickle people are. I think this has shown how fickle people are, because the same people that were vouching for Ukraine are now turning around and saying, Israel, let's stop sending money to the Ukraine. You know what I mean?
That nigga is stupid.
It's dumb.
Listen.
And we're funding endless, constant war. The U.S. is now in beef with Iran and Yemen, and it's going to be a whole nother.
We've talked about it.
War in the Middle East.
It's something War in the Middle East Part 2.
War in the Middle East Part 2.
It's something that everybody knows and that we've been spitting from the beginning about the corruption happening. You understand?
And the thing for me is, too, though,
them niggas is blaming it on terrorism and killing and taking out civilians. That is not okay.
That's terrorism, and that's war crime. You're committing war crimes.
That is not okay.
South Africa and Ireland are suing them through the UN now for war crimes.
Nigga, them niggas should go after them niggas.
And they're suing the U.S. in part. Mm-hmm. But also part of it is the UN is a bunch of bullshit. The UN is a bunch of bullshit. They have had votes to solidify peace agreements with Israel, with the Ukraine, and everybody votes yes except for the U.S., and the U.S. just has the ultimate say. So it's whatever.
Listen, they committing crimes against humanity.
If you're critical of it, you get labeled as a anti-Semite or anti-Israel, or you hate Jewish people, or whatever, or you're supporting terrorism. But that's not the case. You don't have to support Hamas to say, Israel shouldn't be bombing the shit out of Gaza and killing kids and women. The average age
hospitals and
in
shit.
Gaza
You're
is
out
so
of
low.
order.
It's so low. It's out of order. It's out of line. It's
you
way out of line.
is out of order. You need to take several seats.
And I think that's another thing. It plays into the political stuff. Like, Biden, it was fine when we were doing it to the Ukraine. Nobody gave a fuck because they're able to paint it as Russia's bad. Russia. We got to fight Russia. We can't let Russia take over the world. Whatever. But now, with the Israel-Palestine stuff, there's a lot of young people in this country who don't support that bullshit. And they're not here for that shit. So now those same people that they need to win an election is looking at them like, you didn't, for the last 4 years, you didn't pass any of the stuff you said you were going to pass. You didn't help me in stuff that I needed help with, or even speak to me as a voter. And now you're using my taxpayer dollars to support a war I don't support, or I don't think we should be supporting.
Listen, the U.S. is sponsoring this war.
They're complicit. They're complicit in mass murder of civilians.
You can't put
we've done it before too. I mean, we drone bomb the shit out of the Middle East all the time.
Listen, you can't put people in concentration camps and expect them not to revolt and then call them terrorists after when you're trying to take over their land and you put them in camps and shit. They gonna be like, nigga, they gonna find something to revolt. There will always be a revolt against oppressed people, bro.
And I think,
that's been happening since the beginning of time.
It doesn't have to necessarily be like, oh, you support terrorists, right? You support the killing of civilians in Israel. No, we don't. You don't support that. Nobody supports that. You don't want to see nobody innocent die. You don't want to see no babies die. You don't want to see no innocent people die.
Women and children, Bridget.
And their excuse is, oh, well, this is war. This is how war is. You guys forget how war is because you're privileged and you live in America. And I was like, I don't think that's true.
And the thing is,
because we've done the same shit to hundreds of other countries.
Listen, karma comes back, and the shift in powers is happening as we speak. But one thing I do want to talk about is how this Hamas, right, that they talking on CNN about, right? They don't have the same caliber of weapons that Israel have. You feel me? They might have a mag here and a little pistol here and an AK with one mag. And the other side has drones and sending drones after them.
I mean, one side is backed by one of the strongest economies in the world and definitely the strongest military in the world.
Exactly.
And the other side is,
drones.
Shane Gillis has this joke where he says, like he used to watch all the videos of the war in the Middle East, and he's like, you know, it's terrible because when you look at the American side, it's just like dudes who are like clear and they just fucking drone bomb the shit out of a house, and then meanwhile the other guys are fucking dudes in pajamas, is the way he says it, right? Throwing rocks at tanks and shit. But it's a joke, but there's a little bit of truth to every joke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know,
that's how the comedians get the truth across with the jokes.
But you know what's another problem? There's a lot of economic interest related to Israel, or even, you know, certain Jewish lobbyists or certain Jewish.
It's a holy land,
funds.
bro. That's holy land right there.
All of the politicians who are currently running for president support Israel.
Yeah, of course.
Republican Donald Trump supports Israel. DeSantis supports Israel. Nikki Haley supports Israel. Joe Biden supports Israel. Most of the a lot of the big Democratic higher-ups support Israel. You got some of the squad members who say they don't. They say they don't, and then they pass a bill to give them more money.
That's a piece on the checkerboard that they want to keep.
Even a third-party candidate, even a third-party candidate like RFK Jr. I think I mentioned him before, right? RFK Jr., our environmental lawyer, whatever. He's polling at like 20+% in a general election against Trump and Biden. He's going to be, if he actually goes through with it and runs, and he makes it to November, he's going to be one of the biggest independent third-party candidates to ever run for president in the history of our country.
Fuck that nigga.
Even he supports Israel.
Listen, fuck that nigga. That nigga said that black people is not getting no reparations from him. Fuck that nigga. His card bun
Ain't nobody giving you reparations.
Fuck that nigga. Listen, fuck that nigga. That nigga said no. Fuck that nigga.
The only people you have left are Cornel West and Jill Stein, who don't support Israel.
I don't even know any of these people.
And they do support reparations. Or Cornel West supports reparations, at least.
They will go bankrupt. They can't do it.
They have no shot at all at winning the presidency.
Don't tell me you're not going to do it. Fuck you, nigga. Feel me?
It's bad. It's really bad. But I think the thing that gives me hope is that there's a lot of young people, even young Jewish people, who don't support Israel. But then there's also a lot of things with
Free Palestine.
If your parents or your boss is Jewish, it's a conflict of interest. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to bite the hand that feeds them, right?
Listen.
And I think that's the big problem with it. The politicians, they don't want to bite the hands that feed them. And there's a lot of donations that come in from the pro-Israel lobby, the Zionist lobby, that wants to let Israel do whatever they want.
I say no women and no children. You should have several seats. How you going to tell people to escape and then cut off the Wi-Fi, cut off everything, cut off the water, and then shoot them while they escape? That is foul.
Or you tell them, yeah, you should go to this area of Gaza because we're going to bomb where you're at. And then you bomb that other area too. Or you say, oh yeah, we had to bomb a hospital. We had to bomb a public place with a lot of civilians because there was one terrorist there. Or there was maybe a couple terrorists.
Them men,
and then we don't even know. How can we even confirm that?
Listen, them niggas cut off everything and said escape and then killed the niggas as they was escaping.
And it's one of the biggest problems that this country has always had. It's just a problem with endless war. And funding endless war because it lines the pockets of all our politicians. Mm-hmm. A lot of our economy is based on the military. A lot of the global economy is based on the military.
Yeah.
France has the healthcare for everybody. England has the healthcare for everybody. Germany has the healthcare for everybody. How can they afford that? You know how they can afford that? Because we're the fucking stupid motherfuckers paying taxes to have the strongest military in the world to be like, hey, we'll protect you no matter what happens. And then they can turn around and look at their people and be like, hey, we can give you healthcare. We can give you paid time off. We can give you equal living wage. You know what I mean? And we're the ones who get screwed.
At the end of the day,
we're the ones who get fucked.
The good guy always loses.
Yep.
You understand? With these people, they make sure of it.
The average American loses. You know what I mean? The average American will always lose. They'll always lose. But the one power you have is your vote. Allegedly.
Fuck them niggas.
So, yeah.
Fuck them niggas, bro.
I'd recommend to vote third party this year, to be honest.
I ain't voting. I said it already.
You don't have to vote either.
I ain't playing the game.
And some people get mad about that, but it's like,
we talked about it.
What is there to vote for?
What is there to vote for?
What is there to vote
These niggas is killing women and children. There's nothing to speak about.
If your argument for running is we're the better of two evils, you're still fucking evil.
The better of two evils?
The better of two evils is still fucking evil. So I don't want no association with that.